Okay. What's so stupid about all that is that I know why they did all the weight limitations. And it's because of the game economy. They didn't want the game economy to lose all value by having really high-end crafting materials flood the market for whatever that was worth, or allow players to make badass camps too easily. They wanted there to be some kind of bartering between players, which wasn't there at launch, so. And they didn't want people to have these super OP workshops. And it was, all that did was, one, count your chickens before they're hatched, and two, punish legitimate players. The game economy was always ruined. It was always in ruins. You could stack endless magazines, you could dupe items, and that is only the beginning of the tale. Of course, what ends up happening is you have modders and hackers, and the game economy has been utterly screwed by illegitimate players, and that was never really seemed to be their biggest concern. Like, yeah, they've tried to fight that. They've gone after them a little bit, but primarily they went after legitimate players by making their life difficult because they had to constantly micromanage inventories.
Thornburg was well within bounds.
And have server mitigation destroy what they thought, they supposedly want the player to do, building things and taking an active role in the world and populating it. And they went so far as, when the game was in the midst of being able to constantly stack Pip-Boys and constantly stack magazines, and you would go and you'd start to build your camp and you'd lose it, or there was just a massive limitations on the camp, or you would have your buddies and you'd be playing and you'd, like we did, God, dozens of times, you'd get into the bullet factory or the food factory and have this amazing base all built up, and you'd get booted and you'd lose every ounce of it, or you'd die and your brown paper bag would go into the wall. That game just constantly felt like it was giving you the middle finger, and they never ever made it right. They never made it right. I swear to God to that. It's the only game and the only game company I've ever dealt with outside of how I feel about Destiny. And I rarely have let myself. There's animals.
Fertilizer shipments be brought on board. Who keeps ordering these?
But the only time I've really felt like a game company actively screwed me, and others too, of course. It's much bigger than me. This went across to anybody who had the same experience and bought that game at launch and got fucked by it. But so in the middle of that, all that's happening, what did they do? They made it harder to get crafting materials. Where are your priorities? I get it, like, oh, that's the thing we could, they'd probably say, well, that's what we could fix now. So that's why they did it or something like that. But it doesn't make it any less obnoxious. So if you had a factory that had a bunch of the little mining deposit things, now you had to break those down, which took acid and other resources, and it took, of course, more of your time, and they were heavier, and it was the classic Bethesda thing where something that should be simple and easy and worked the way that it worked before just fine now has to become needlessly complicated, and you have to manage your inventory even more so. Classic. Meanwhile, you could stack endless magazines and Pip-Boys and mod a weapon up to 5 stars and kill the dragon in 2 shots, and nothing was done about that.
Captain, I hope you
breaking into the dev room and think about that the freaking dev room from Fallout, of all Fallouts previous from Skyrim, was the same dev room, the Captain, very same. We're gonna skip through this because you guys already know what happens here. Rest and go. Straight over. Okay. Now Ada.
Welcome back, Captain.
And we already know how this conversation goes.
What's that?
Favorite among.
I see.
Sam's her favorites.
What do you mean? Truthfully,
we told her about the scientist stuff. You're secretly gonna take over the Halcyon system.
How did you guess, Captain?
She doesn't like to talk about the captain. I'm just not going to bring it up this time. And we're going to leave the conversation. Current quest is Don't Bite the Sun, Parvati. Felix wants to meet Harlow in person on Skyla, Cilia, whatever. Skyla can't do that now. We owned the ammo factory for like an hour. We all got kicked. Exactly. And you put all these, you get the nuclear reactor in there, and you get these walls, and you just... I just wish that game worked, man. Because I'll tell you what, if it had worked, and if they hadn't done so much bullshit, and if they hadn't... The word that comes to mind is called drudgery. I just wonder if that's right. It can't be right. Let's see if it's actually fitting right there. It's just so much con artist stuff, you know? Yeah, it actually is right. The right word came to mind. Underhanded dealings, trickery. Yeah. They engaged in skullduggery. The right word came to mind. Isn't that weird how that happens? And that's the best way I can describe it. This is the game when it worked though. When it worked. I remember Tyrell and I, we had this moment. We were in a town, we fortified it, and there was acid haze, yellow stinging our eyes. We're both in heavy armor, and there were players around us who were actually PvPing with us. Which, what happened to the survival server? The survival server was actually cool, but they killed that off too. And I set up this huge set of defenses with shotguns, and you know, I like to build in that game, and I had this set of apartments all completely barricaded out with concrete and doors, and of course the crappy thing is you leave, it's all over with, but we had this nice base locked in, and I think you made clay there and cement, or just cement. We had this great cement factory and great production going. And we were attacked by this massive horde of crickets. And I swear to God, we were fighting these radioactive giant crickets for 15, 20 minutes at least. And it was cool. It was cool. We were sitting there trading, had to make ammo on the fly, getting tons of XP and meat for this. It was a blast. We had that. We were actually being tested on our defenses. And there were just like a few moments like that where it clicked. Like I could see the potential. I could see how cool it could be. If it would work. If it was like that all the time, it would just be amazing. But that, you know, and then you'd go and you wouldn't see an enemy for 3 hours because all the spawns were broken, or you die in your brown paper bag and go through the wall, or you get server mitigated and you lose your entire workshop that you spent 6 hours building. And it just constantly like that. So it worked about 1 in 100 times. When it did, it looked like it could be special. Apparently they've done a lot of work on it. They should just go free to play at this point. Absolutely. They've already got a microtransaction store. Sorry for those of you watching this on YouTube. Maybe the conversation will be interesting enough to drive it forward. Twitch.tv/StuckOnPandora. They've already got a subscription model. They've already got a microtransaction shop. They've got a battle pass. They've got monetization out the fucking ass. Why isn't it free to play? And why haven't people like myself and Wilso, who bought the game for $85 at launch and did the beta, ever been recompensated, ever been apologized to? Why have they never tried to do right by us? Because we're not alone. I'm sure there's dozens of us, at least, who had enough goodwill with Bethesda to trust them. Sublight. Okay, we're going to go to Groundbreaker. You pre-ordered it too, so there you go. So you're one of us dozens. They need to do right by us. And the way they do right by us is a year of Fallout first. A year of Fallout first. And a nice chunk of Adams. And it's not the best. I know people got pissed at the $5 Adams for the bag. And, you know, that was a whole thing. And people had a right to be pissed. And it's good that they got pissed. I think something was supposed to be done about those animals, and I failed. And if I did, that sucks. This thing just pisses me off. I just don't think it does enough. Oh god, the DPS is actually really bad on that. Should get that science perk, though, first. I see an X on the food and I see an X on the drugs, and I assume that means that probably we're being impacted right now by both drug and food addiction. I'll travel back to his lab. Well, we're gonna do the Groundbreaker thing first. We're gonna bring Parvati. Obviously, she wants to come, and I think we'll bring Ellie, just because maybe things will happen. Corporate impersonators make a mockery of our values. So the board did not take too kindly to MSI being a part of the board being blackmailed. I feel like Anthem was worse, though. I don't. I think Anthem was a full product. I think Anthem has a lot of problems. And I don't know what they plan to do in the future with the relaunch and how they'll incorporate the people who bought it at launch and so on. But I just think Anthem was a lot better than Fallout. Fallout had way more controversies and skullduggery, as we called it. So Anthem just had issues, and then they just kind of quit. You know, they just kind of quit. They didn't quit all the way, ostensibly, but they pretty much left it for dead. It's what, 6 months of support at most, maybe. Then they wrapped it up. Everyone always just assumes it's dead. I mean, it's effectively dead. It's just about as dead as can be without an official proclamation of we're done. You put the right quest on. But it's slated for an Xbox Series X and a PS5 relaunch, so it'll be cool. And I hope, and if they give us some like benefits for having been a part of the original vision, then I'll feel fine. I got like 300 plus hours out of Anthem. It was fun. This wasn't great. That's just my take, though, my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion out, Raphael. What's dead? Anthem is probably dead. Yeah, it's just been so long. It's just been so long. And I know it's going to get that relaunch on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, but 30 plus people, and people forget it even exists anymore. It's a big question as to whether or not they'll do right by the people who bought it originally and just what this rework looks like. It could be amazing, though, so please check out Ashton. He's a really talented guy. He's really good at tactical-based, team-based shooters. He's good at communication. He's got a funny, dry wit. Check him out. Talented guy. Thanks for being here, Ashton. The shopkeeper does not give a damn. This is probably the most half-baked feature in this game. Just the stealing, because it just doesn't matter. Oh wait, I think this person's supposed to sell us the soap. Anthem was just a bunch of false promises. Nothing like we were told, but the mechanics were fun other than the jetpack overheating, but the grind was very shit. Yeah, the grind was very real and not obviously not rewarding, but they didn't actively feel ripped off like 76 made me feel. Outriders will be out by then, so I won't be getting back into it. What's Outriders about, Ashton? Berman, get rid of the shotgun. You talk about keycard. I already got the damn keycard. Tell me that this guy has to... We have to use keycard per... Oh my god, he didn't notice. You steal shit right out of the cash register. It was fun, but shit. Anthem or Outriders? Milo, we've stolen everything you have in your person.
See a friendly face. What'll it be?
Soap, I guess. What kind of business have you and GLaDOS got running?
Didn't quite catch that. You'll have to speak up.
Business.
Glass ear. Sorry, there's a lot of static on my end.
And I'm standing right here.
Nothing to fear. Sorry again. The
Okay,
sound of
criminal
groundbreakers
pursuits. We didn't use the
engines
code
really
word.
got
The
to
code
me
word
over
is
the
bingo
years.
bongo. Bingo bongo. Perception, but it's locked. It's where we usually have really high perception.
Huh. Now,
And it's 100% because we're having food and drug withdrawal. made our life the food withdrawal is not a big deal. We get food all the freaking time. The drug, though, the drug's a little bit more. Unless liquor counts. Really? Alcohol doesn't count? Alcohol is totally a drug. Okay, well that makes things even more difficult. Damn it. We'll go with this secret blend. It's ketchup. It's not a drug, though. What up, Gunner? You'll seafood pasta. How the hell are you, Gunner? Thank you for that poor man's Nexus cat. Infamous Poop was fun with good customization, but the loot was trash and no end game. Endgame's a tricky one, isn't it? People love to talk about endgame. Endgame gets talked about constantly. And, you know, I thought about that word a lot. Thought about endgame a lot. I defined it. I was, you know, take walks after the stream. I walk at night. I think about things like this for videos. And I said, endgame is a meaningful time sink. That's how I defined endgame. Because I very rarely hear people tell me, you know, when they say endgame and then like, what is endgame to you? And I think it's a meaningful time sink. Well, I think Anthem had the time sink element. It just wasn't meaningful. I mean, you gained power. It's better than a lot of games do. But it was extremely repetitive, which is a problem. It was grind for the sake of grind, because obviously once you got beyond that grind, there was nothing left. Nothing. It's all over. Which is another bad thing to have happen to your game. You want there to always be a little bit of something left that you feel like you could do if you really love it. Because most players, you know, you lose your population like crazy right after launch. I'm still trying to figure out what is going to be a drug for us. Probably was a mistake to take this drug addiction thing. I guess I'll go with this. A lot of games, Destiny was the origin of this sin, though. It wasn't the first game to do it, but Destiny was the first game I really recognized it in. Destiny 2 at launch. Once players had beat the story, it had that sort of like, oh, you're already at the end game, and it seemed really addicting. Like, oh, I'm going up in power, I'm going up in light. This is cool. There's so much to do, so much room for activities. And it became extremely, extremely repetitive and grindy because you realize there was actually only like 3 activities to do so that you could get this sort of pittance of a reward. And the reason it was made to be so slow is because once you did get past the pittance of reward, there wasn't anything left. It was all done. It was 30 hours of content. It was over. It was billed at this MMO Lite premium price. Anthem is better than Destiny 2 at launch to me to this day. It had a fuller story. It is just a game that is... I've got a capstone on YouTube. I talk about this a little bit more. Though I do feel like my sense of what endgame is... I've got a clear definition. Go to a new planet, try to take it over. Human civil war, and less people trying to find a way home. Is it going to be like a looter shooter, though? Like, what type of game? Thanks for the story, though. Felt like a shitty Destiny. I mean, flying and shooting was cooler, I thought. I like doing the Tyrant Mine, but it was very repetitive. I thought the open world... If they should have just made an open... I'm going to save this thought, because I've got a video series I plan to do on YouTube, and I plan to call it, well, what I would have done. I mean, you know, I went to school for game dev and digital media. Communication, creative writing, and I went and I got a minor in computer science and did the whole thing for a while, making the games for a few years, and won a couple game design awards even. So I'm gonna start a series, and it's gonna be what I would have done, and I hope it doesn't come across as like, wow, the Iconoclast truly fucking hate us. They're nervous. They both like us and hate us. They're gone. They don't exist anymore. And I hope it doesn't come across as like a pedantic or like you know, I told you so, neater. Not at all. Just like my personal creative take on what I would have done different. And the first one I plan to do is not Destiny, but Anthem.
Feels like the AC finally kicked in.
Looter shooter, well, sounds good
when
then.
I didn't wake up in a sweaty bedsheet.
Okay, we don't have any debuffs going on right now. Let's keep the board at bay.
Our Chief Tennyson has an independent streak. same as her mother and
Playing on
grandmother. who
supernova
rode this ship
difficulty?
on the
Hell no.
crossing.
I'm playing on hard. I don't want my
There's a
followers to
reason the
die.
board's embassy is a glorified shoebox.
Empty and
While
meaningless
Tinley Tennyson lives and breathes, Groundbreaker remains free.
on the customization. It was their chance to make money. They blew it. They wanted to make it. There was so much less of a cash grab in that game. So many less microtransaction little gotchas than there was with Fallout. Fallout 76, you got a battle pass. You got Fallout first. You got the microtransaction shop. You got stuff that they said you never would have to pay to win. But then you put the fridge in there and the backpack and yada, yada, yada. Anthem only did cosmetics. To its credit, it only ever sold cosmetics. Later, it sold crafting mats, I believe. But, that being said, I basically agreed with you and people on Reddit who would be like, I want to grind for armor and gain armor sets. The armor looked amazing. The javelin suits looked amazing. If that game was a great looter shooter with its combat and its flying, it would have just been amazing. We all know it, I think. But they should have monetized it more heavily in the sense of it's going to have paid DLC, it's going to have a season pass, and gun cosmetics. But totally, your javelin armor should have been something you had made a meaningful difference to your character, and was something else you plundered for. Because that would have just been cooler, and it would have felt more substantial.
Of course.
So I agree with you.
Most
That's what I'm
of our
saying.
supplies come and go through merchants. Company ships and salvage runs are the
Rough,
only
yeah.
traffic we tend to get. I try and steer clear of that creepy fellow in the moon mask.
I've talked to
If there's
him.
a cost
I
to
was
being a
hoping we'd get the
company man,
perception
he
skill
paid it
check
in
again, so we
spades.
could try to clear that.
Our local garbage collectors. That Lilia Hagen.
Yes,
never
they're
met a
not
debris
pirates at
field
all.
She didn't like.
Welcome back,
She
Maltroff.
freely admits she planted her.
Look, you're the guy from the store, so why aren't you... doing the thing? Why aren't you selling a soap to Parvati? Don't bite the sun. Parvati wants to... She's after specific slides from a vendor on Groundbreaker. Is this not the run and gun thing? Whatever. Let's go turn in the mission to Sublight. Let's whoops.
Is any of the news they play here actually true?
Martin, do you have
Is
soap?
it just me, or is Groundbreaker feeling extra chilly? Maybe you ought to help yourself to a piping hot frozen dinner.
What are you saying, Martin? That's an Auntie Cleo's product.
Whoa, what have I done? The company will have my head. Both of them. This is awful.
This guy's lines are really good. He's like, I feel like this thing is a part of me now.
Gotcha.
He's got this
What I
mask
wouldn't give
welded
see
to
the
his
look on
face.
your face. This guy's
Ellie,
real
you a
easy to fuck
bad
with.
girl, Ellie. You a bad girl.
What kind of depraved mind would conjure such a nightmare?
That's Ellie, isn't she great?
Agree to disagree. Now, if you don't mind,
They're always
I'd like
bullying
to
my
put
boy,
this
Martin.
behind us and forget it ever happened.
French. I don't read fucking French.
Anything and everything. Whatever you want, we got it. And when you need a replacement, we got that too.
Must be shoddy quality if it needs replacing.
Just the opposite. Spacer's Choice items are always new, hot off the shelves, because customers
Martin.
just can't stop buying new stuff. Oh, sorry. Got the line wrong. You want me to do it again?
You could be playing Season 6, Gunner? You looking forward to Rampart? If you wouldn't mind.
Spacer's Choice items are always new, hot off the shelves, because customers just can't stop improving their lives with our fine product. You could go broke buying overpriced errands.
Spend your money where you make it.
You could buy from us at a much more reasonable rate.
It sounds like armored gear won't break the first time you use it.
That's why you should get a backup or three. Become a frequent
Yeah.
buyer. Join our Friendship Rewards program.
I've not done the third
currently
DLC
unapproved in
yet,
Alpha
no. I
Rewards
plan
and
on
Friendship
doing it
Bundle.
soon, though. When do we have Season 6 come out? The 18th? Soon. Look at all these goodies to steal. Oh, hey. I think maybe it's because the game actively wants you to steal shit. Because there's just not hardly any repercussions ever for stealing. And once or twice, I think we've gotten in trouble for stealing. And then we literally just said, I was just going. And then it was fine. It was all fine. I don't even think we need to crouch. Look at this. We're just in the middle of everything. This game doesn't care. It's not the best choice, it's Spacer's choice. What does this do for us again? Temperament. This guy knew the code. He knew the Rona was around the corner. He was getting ready. He was ahead of us all. You might think he's crazy. He's not sick, is he? You sell food, I think.
Fried spratwurst, battered and fresh.
I heard it's good though. I heard it's the best DLC so far. Your time for a chat.
As long as you don't mind me grinding spratwurst while we talk.
What I need
Little
from
things
you
don't
is
make themselves
soap.
chewy. At least not yet. I'm sure modern science will find a way.
If we can colonize the other worlds, the outer worlds, then yes, I'm sure science will find a
Near
way.
about time for me to go check on the trap.
Life
I
finds
mean,
a way.
to unload another crate of farm fresh sprats.
See you. Ike's Armory probably's not got soap. Where's the entrance to this place? Sublight. Is this on Supernova difficulty? I already said no. No, it's not, Gunner. No, it's just on hard. Why did you beat it on Supernova difficulty? If it was on Supernova, as I said, I wouldn't have my followers with me. I would just do this alone. Oh, my bad. No. Oh, you're good, man. You're good. I just didn't want you to think I was ignoring you.
That gas is going to make us a fucking mint.
Hell yeah, you guys all look the
120-some
same.
Cubic meters of it.
You look like Huxley. You're Huxley. You're on Monarch as Huxley.
You've earned it.
These pirates usually
When we
pay
get
us real
buyers
well.
Lined up, I'm gonna buy a gold toilet to
Real
ship.
well. I played it on normal, but I never finished. Did you like it, though? We have 100 persuade. Holy cow. You've earned it. Height of ambition for us all. Oh, you didn't pay us. That's 2,000. But I'll tell you what, the other pirate lady, Sublight, on Monarch, paid us like 10,000.
You know what? Fuck it. Enjoy yourself. I invest in the happiness of my workers.
So
and
what
you
we've been
deserve
trying to
a
embrace with this playthrough is we're a rogue. We try not to
Monarch
really
isn't
take
exactly a
sides.
walk
We
down the lanes of
exist to make
Byzantium.
money.
But here you are with all your limbs attached. Call me impressed, contractor.
In case you were curious, no one was following. Do you always send your first timers into certain peril?
No one you saw, anyway. Glad to see you're looking out for yourself. You've been keeping busy. I hear you took on some extra work at Fallbrook. Catherine says the factory
yeah, we were
needs some
supposed to report
repairs
back to
before it's
her.
back to working order, but at least it's under our control. Hey, when you were at the slaughterhouse, those swine didn't
Well, we
give
didn't
you
kill the
any
synth pigs.
strange looks, did they?
Lie. Could have sworn one of them winked at me. It's a pretty easy skill check. I don't know. It's a little weird. You enjoyed it? Well, the DLC comes out September 9th, so maybe that'll give you a reason to come back into it. So far, my thoughts on this game, to be brief, are it's a really good start. Can't wait for the sequel. You know, it's not like, oh, I can't wait to play this. Oh, this game is just amazeballs. It's blowing my mind. Not quite there. I think there's some things. It's a good combination of the Knights of the Old Republic and Fallout, but there's not enough of it being like its own thing. I think the writing's excellent. I think the combat is at odds with itself, or it wants you to take things really slow, but at the same time, it wants to be like a Borderlands-esque shooter. Overall, though, it seems like it's just great first entry. It's a great first entry, and I hope this becomes a franchise.
I knew it. I'm probably getting
We're gonna
worked up
lie.
over nothing. Just try not to think about pigs. You never know, you know?
Yeah, but their tumors sure are tasty. You doing okay?
I've got a lot on my mind, but it's nothing that concerns
You got
me.
another mission?
At
Because
least not yet. I have another job lined up, assuming you're still interested
thank
in
you,
work.
thank you.
You're gonna salvage me a space station. Heliospheric Research Station 1084, to be exact. I want it. Cobwebs and all.
Well, we've
Interested?
already been there, so yeah.
How big are we
Oh
talking?
yeah.
Not like groundbreaker big, right?
This opportunity won't come around again, Captain.
Welcome back, Wilso. Just point me in the right direction. How did a research station become salvage?
Right now, it's only salvage on paper. Systems and comms have gone dark. Poke around if you're curious why.
Okay, Huxley, I mean
While
Lilia.
the board lets 1084 gather dust, you're gonna swoop in and plant Sublight's flag. Perfectly legit, perfectly legal.
That's right. What did Sanyar say? Corporate policy B32 section C. It's technically finders keepers. You have a buyer lined up?
Not this time. The board tolerates our business up to a point, and selling off a station full of their old gear and terminals crosses that point.
Pull up an Outriders trailer
But if
before we
were
go to
move
dinner.
in and commandeer the station as a Sublight salvage remote office, that's a different matter. Legally gray by comparison. More of a squatter situation.
I wonder what they're going to use it for, though.
Here, this override bypass should get you into the station's systems where you can plant my flag.
Oh,
And one
I'm
last
still.
thing. When you get there, make sure you aren't followed.
This lady is super
We wouldn't
paranoid.
want that.
That's probably why she's in charge of the whole pirate clan. I'm still disappointed that we had to purge the entire Iconoclast just because we did not get food and medicine that one time. That arc in the story, like, they were able to adapt if you kill Graham ahead of time, but they're not able to adapt when you have 97% approval in the Iconoclast faction to working with you. They would rather go to war than be willing to work with you because one time you didn't bring up food and medicine. It seems like they were just trying to force your hand. I get it, but it still frustrates me. That's how I felt too. The story was really good, but I definitely felt like it was missing something. It's weird, isn't it? I think it's slow at the beginning as well. It's had more combat lately, and as I've been absorbed into the world, it's kind of like getting into a book. Sometimes getting into a book can be a slow process, but then when you're like a quarter of the way through and you really start to get the world and the story and the characters, you know, you can't help but keep going and want to know more. I think the writing's great. I really do. And I like the Knights of the Old Republic vibes, but I almost feel like they should kind of toss away some of the Fallout 76 stuff. Like, keep the dialogue options and all that, but figure out what makes the Outer Worlds the Outer Worlds. You're being cryptic again. Who are we worried about? Authorities? I should wink and nod. I'm gonna wink and nod.
Glad we understand each other.
It just feels like the
On
right thing to
heels
do.
Of something big.
Lean
Play your
into the
cards right
campy
and I'll clue you
sci-fi.
in, but right now,
It's not even campy
I'm not
though.
sure
It's
who
good
I can
sci-fi.
trust.
It's actually really good
Just be
science fiction.
careful.
And there's tons,
Someone might
if you're a
try
science
and use
fiction
you to
fan,
get to me.
there's tons of references to great science fiction novels. I mean, of course, Brave New World, Stranger in the Strange Land, the typical stuff, but more weird stuff. Like we talked about Cat's Cradle earlier in the stream. Radio Free Monarch. It's Radio Free Abernathy. I can't pronounce it right, but if it's a Philip K. Dick novel, like all of this stuff, The Empty Man is, oh, it's all science fiction references. But Conan is, what is this, by the way? Dangerous Frontiers by Ophelia Sweeney. But yeah, like obviously the campiness is like the humor and how they always stick with that 1940s, which again is pretty Fallout-esque. That whole retrofuturism thing, the whole dialogue. They didn't quite figure out where they want to go because they balance between it's the Wild West and 1940s Fallout. Why I yada? Come here, see? It's intriguing how we devoted our resources to the stars. That's the greatest hell of all time. Babe Ruth hit himself a dinger when there are still so many problems to be solved on Earth. Exposing our fragile species to the breadth of the cosmos renders settlers and spacers alike vulnerable to the mysteries of other worlds. The fate of an outbound civilization could hinge on a single miscalculation, an unobserved variable, and any number of alien catastrophes. Recklessness and impatience are perhaps hardwired features of humanity and not errors in our genes, as others might imply. Ophelia, I think she's still around. Ophelia, I feel like we've even talked to her. About to break for dinner, but I wanted to do a couple more things. One, I want to get the damn science weapon. The logs on Hawthorne's terminal, because we've started going down that path a little bit with our perks. The logs on Hawthorne's terminal mentioned rumors from the groundbreaker of a scientist who bragged about a powerful weapon he was researching. Plasma tests could be found on the station. Another Hawthorne's logs mentions looking in Gladys' shop for old records. Apparently, the smuggler acquired several leads that way. Now, I feel like at one point we had done that, but it required that we lockpicked and stole stuff from a vault, and they got pissed. Dick Tracy meets Firefly. That's a good one. Yeah. That sounds about right. That sounds about right, Maltroff. Mixed with, clearly the writers of this game have read a ton of, like, the great science fiction writers and understand the genre like the back of their hand. And I appreciate that. As a reader of the genre myself, I appreciate that. She said, like, I think the, like, bounty drone, what the hell is this?
Have you seen this man? Reward offered for information.
Oh, it's Phineas.
Of noted terrorist Phineas Wells.
No, as I've gotten into the world more, it's been a lot more easy to play it, but they've got to figure out a good way to balance the storytelling and the game elements. I'm nearly positive. She said, like, run and go. Was this... You sell soap? You don't look like someone who sells soap.
I swear they had the heat turned.
In fact, you're
way the
Zora.
hell up.
Zora, you made it.
Ellie, my mind, but it's been a while. How's that whisper muzzle working out for you?
Wait, you know Ellie?
Didn't seem to make me
You look like
quieter.
twins.
That mod was for your gun, not your smart mouth.
You want to bust my chops? Do it over drinks next time I'm on station.
Please don't mind her. Everything I sell works as advertised. Some people just like to sass me because I don't bite back.
What's the benefit of modifying my weapons? This is probably just like a
Gets you the
tutorial
weapon
thing.
best suited for your lifestyle.
Fast and loud.
Damn right, baby. That's
All
how I
the
like
better
it.
for performing a little percussive.
Take your basic Deadeye assault rifle. Perfectly serviceable. But what if you like finesse? Slap a scope and silencer on that bad boy. Bunker down in a bush someplace and pop off heads. What if you like getting in
I
close and
would
making
that
a
your
lot of
sniper
noise?
rifles did a little
Extended
more.
ammo magazine and a barrel heat sink to
And it didn't
bump
take
up rate of fire.
slow as molasses to move the scope. Okay, this is like a tutorial thing. We're not going to do the science weapon before dinner. I want to get her soap. Oh, what do you know? There's a marker. And there you go. It literally says rest and go where we're supposed to go. Well, you know how we do. You know how we do here. Always using the old noggin. They don't say I can't read for nothing. Gladys.
If you're here for this week's magazine club meeting, you're a touch late.
Hey, your son Tuk Tuk, 45-year-old divorcee with 3 children and a dead wife. My engineer's looking to do some deep cleansing. Want to impress Chief Jun Lee.
I think I got just the thing, my dear.
It's
Years
soap.
back, Auntie Cleo's put out a home makeover kit, and I snagged a couple for myself. High-grade shampoo and conditioner, scrubby brush, a nice lotion, that sort of thing. I still got 'em, too.
What's the scrubby brush for?
For scrubbing.
Cleaning around your nails, sweetheart. Gets the engine grease out. Makes
Mrs.
your hands
Fixel.
soft. Most folk don't got the time. Or bathtubs for such, me included. I'll let you have one on clearance. You want
How the
roses,
hell did these people
mock apple and
manage to
cinnamon,
colonize
or
the
refurbished
stars,
ship?
and yet no one's got a damn bath? No one's got a soap? Doesn't make any sense. They figured out how to grow edible tumors off of pigs, but they can't get bathtubs? I know, a lot of it's because the corporate structure is like, it's been just as beneficial as it has been harmful. Humanity's struggling while our technology advances. Rosius, when it comes to romance, you can't go wrong with the classics. Mock apple and cinnamon, Parvati sweet just like a pie. An engineer might like a refurbished ship, scrub parts and all. Hey, Parvati, what's your preference?
Oh, gosh. We never talked about what kind of smells she likes. I think pretty much every spot on Groundbreaker just smells like old socks.
It comes down to what sort of intent you got. If I was looking to do a spy job over in engineering, I'd be safe with refurbished
Yeah, I'm pretty
shit.
sure Parvati's looking to get her
Now,
some.
if I was a young thing trying to come on all precious like, I'd probably go with
She's
Rose.
just looking to do what Tyrell would call clap
if I
them
was doing
cheeks,
it
if you
for
know what
my
I'm talking
own
about,
self,
Miss Fizzle.
I'd pick mock
That
apples
thing
and
that
cinnamon.
they tried to do.
I guess you could eeny miny moe it.
Take your time, dear. A lady's scent says a lot about her.
It was what? Mog things and thistles, right? Let's just go with mock apple and sweet, just like a pie.
Captain.
Oh,
I'll just wrap that up for you, since it's for a special occasion.
10 bits.
I'll pay for that, ma'am. Thanks for being so helpful.
You're welcome, dear.
Bye.
Anytime, sweetheart. You know where to find me.
There's still a thing we gotta do with you, though. And then we'll break for dinner. Another law mentioned Gladys shops for old records. Oh, hey, wait. I don't think it's not directly in this room anymore, eh? Maybe we can do this without having Gladys shoot the ever-living shit out of us. I swear to God we had the rest and go key card. I'm not gonna save yet because I don't know if they know. Oh, this isn't even the place. I don't seem pissed that we broke in here though. Right there, groundbreaker weapon. At a shop, old records. Smuggler acquired several leads that way. Yes. Well, if they don't care that I broke in there, we're just gonna save and keep going. Have you heard of the High Yells? By the Nine Divine.
This place has a smell, right?
Stay on the road.
Like mold and old socks.
Ack. Be careful. By Mora? By Azora, it's the champion of the arena. The necromancy cult broke into the Mages Guild, tried to assassinate the Fighters Guild leader, and attack the Emperor, all in the same night. One of UB Squealers came asking after you, wanted to know what you would like to drink, who to talk to, what's your temperament like, tried to pay me off, I took the bits and told her a pack of lies. Watch your back when you get in. To Iceman from Veritas. Don't want to find you in the waste disposal chute. Icy, it's been a while since I heard from you. You're on that long haul to Duskova right now. I hope it goes well. I got space for you and yours to meet when you get back. It's just a storage room, but it's quiet and safer than the bar. Should be able to accommodate most of your folks. No fees or nothing, just buy me a beer. Mr. Mac Red. We have reviewed your proposal for the 10th time and still not agree that galactic mushroom is an acceptable flavor for Rizo beverage. Even if we were to pursue the idea, the samples you sent to us were dangerously hallucinogenic. The unopened package alone caused mayhem in our receiving bay. I'm not really sure what that taught us. Sounds like a storage room. There might be something. Let me look at that one last time. No longer acceptable. We only get to read it once? That seems weird. I swear, man, these characters. I don't know why this is clearly the most underbaked feature in this whole game is the stealing. Look, that guy's right there.
Nice and easy.
Yeah, maybe don't say it aloud, though. Nice and easy. He'll never know. I don't even care. It's not even worth it. Okay. So look, this is what I know. Our sneak is fairly high, though. Are we in food withdrawal? We're almost certainly in food withdrawal, aren't we? Yeah, that's just like all the time now. It was actually a mistake to take that. We can't stay full anymore. Well, this isn't the place. They're gonna get so pissed. I just want to see if she's got like the blueprint thing. Okay. What do you think you're doing? Oh, look. I was just leaving. Did we lose any rep? We did lose some rep. How much, though? Probably like nothing. Yeah, they revere us. I don't care. It's worth it then. Oh, hey, look. I wanted to do this before we broke for dinner, so... 2 corporate freighters before I got stranded. We've read this before. I want to assume this is finally going to... And if this does lead to this thing that we need, what is it again? Old records. Gladys has shot the old records. Then I'll be mad at myself because it was so apparent the whole time, I guess. It felt like this was the right way. But damn it, I guess it wasn't. What the hell are we missing? It's never good to go into a surgery room and they've got a damn drain in the floor. Holy shit. I think they all do though, don't they? That drug addiction was not at all worth that extra perk.
Huh? What was it?
Ooh,
What do you think
hey,
you're
where?
doing?
Who? What? I was just leaving.
Yourself.
Let's work our way out of here. We should probably call this an episode. Is there anything here? I'm gonna go for that one. Then I'm gonna call it. It's the last action I'll take before dinner. I'm gonna go to that marker all the way out there. Look at that, 13 meters away. We're so close to it. What am I missing? What are we missing? Grab some of that hemorrhoid cream. Out of my way. It almost looks like you could go. No, it's just a window. Is that not Ava? It's not the best choice. It's Spacer's choice. By going to the long one, I mean I'm going to continually run into a dead end while trying to search for this one. We had to find the old records. I'm pretty sure we've already talked to Gladys. This is going to lead us literally to our ship. And that to me just doesn't make any sense. Logs found in the captain's terminal on the unreliable mention a powerful weapon, perhaps the Halcyon colony contains a weapon switch like this one. Oh, it's because it wants us to leave to go search for the other one. I want the one on Groundbreaker. Looking for old records. Apparently the smuggler acquired several leads that way. Maybe we have to talk to Gladys away. You had it? As in it's in the shitter? Or as in it's in Gladys's room? Well, we can ignore the second marker. We know that officially. That's good. Cross that off our list. Take some fall damage. Rip. It's another thing where the game's weird. It's like Borderlands. It wants you to do combat all the time, but if you drop more than 2 inches, you take fall damage. So...
It's almost time for today's episode. I found a hen.
Do you have something for sale that might be it? Maybe? Discount? I wonder if that discount was slightly higher before we tried to rob her blind. Here. Excuse me. I don't see anything. In this official seal, the Halcyon board is why we did a quest. Clearly, she's not meant to be robbed. There's no dialogue options. I'll go up again. Can we climb any higher? Sure doesn't look like fall damage. Okay, be back soon. See you guys in a little bit. I appreciate